Alright guys, so as some of you know, I got a Typhoon series K&N intake for my 2020 Civic Si, and I was looking on YouTube and there's absolutely no videos on how to install this air intake system. So I thought since I had it and since I was going to install it anyway, I'd make a video showing how to install the intake system. Now I do have a link in the description down below if you guys want to get your own intake. K&N makes them for almost any car, so you may not need this exact kit if you don't have a Civic Si, a 10th generation Civic Si to be exact, but they sell a kit for pretty much any car on the planet that you can think of. They're a massive company, they have great reviews, they've been around for a long time, so I trust their products and I'm going to show you how to install it today. Alright guys, so this is everything you're going to need to install the Typhoon series intake. I have the hose clamps here. This is every hose clamp you're going to need for the kit. I have two couplers here. I'll show you where those go during the install. One goes attached to the factory air inlet. This is the piece that connects to the actual air filter and gets connected to the heat shield. As you can see, there's two screws right here. And on the back, there's two screw locations as well. We have the intake tube, the air filter of course, some rubber pieces that are going to go on the heat shield in order to make an airtight seal with the top of the engine bay, or the hood. So what you're going to need for this is quite simple actually. You're going to need a screwdriver that has a Phillips tip, as well as, if I pull this out, a flathead tip. You're also going to need a 3mm and a 4mm Allen wrench. So I have a 10mm ratchet here with a 1-foot extension, as well as just a regular 10mm wrench. That's all you're really going to need to install this kit. It's actually quite simple. K&N says you can do it in under 90 minutes, and I'm pretty sure this is going to take me under an hour to get the old one out and get the new one in. The first thing you want to do when installing the air filter is familiarize yourself with the stock air filter assembly. You're going to want to remove the mass airflow sensor plug and clip. Now they don't say to do this in the instructions, but in order to get the old air filter out, you're going to have to remove the clip. Next, you're going to want to remove the hose clamp that's attached to the turbo inlet tube. You don't want to remove the actual hose yet, you just want to take off the clamp. On the side of the factory airbox, there are two screws as shown. You'll want to remove these two screws, and I used a 10mm socket with a 1-foot extension in order to get them out. If you're having trouble getting them out of the engine bay, you can use a magnet and pull them up. Once those two screws are removed, you can take out the factory airbox. You want to forcefully pull up on the airbox to try and get it to disconnect from the bottom piece of the air inlet. So this kit came with some rubber tubing that you're going to need to install on the outside of the heat shield. Installing the rubber tubing was a lot harder than you'd expect, and a lot of trimming was required in order to get it to fit right. This kit also comes with a rubber mounting point that goes in the front bolt location that you just took out. You want to hand tighten the rubber mounting point and don't over tighten it. When you're installing the screws into it later, it'll tighten itself if it's a little loose. You're going to want to install the heat shield with the 2 supplied screws from the kit. These 2 holes line up with the same bolts that I took out earlier in the video. Install the air filter inlet mount with the supplied screws and a 3mm Allen key. Line up the screw holes on both pieces and place the screws in by hand to start. Bend the heat shield back slightly in order to install the air filter and then tighten the hose clamp. You want to make sure the hose clamp is nice and tight to prevent air leaks. To install the air inlet coupler, use the largest supplied hose clamp and attach it to the back of the heat shield assembly. Place the small hose clamp on the opposite side of the coupler, but do not tighten it yet. Just leave it there for now. Install the turbo inlet coupler with the supplied hose clamp and place the second clamp on the opposite side of the coupler. You can tighten the one down that's attached to the turbo inlet, but do not tighten the other side down yet. Take the factory airbox and remove the mass airflow sensor from it. There's 2 Phillips head screws that are removed in order to get this out. Place the sensor carefully into the K&N intake tube, as this piece is very fragile. Before you install your air inlet tube, you want to remove a little clip that holds the factory vacuum line to the car. Now on the bottom of this clip, I just took a pair of pliers and pinched it in order to get it out. You pop it out and swap it to the other side of the mount. It's simple and only takes a few seconds. Once that clip has been moved to the opposite side of the bracket, you can install the intake tube. Some muscle will be needed in order to put that into place, as you can see. But once you do get it into place, tighten all the hose clamps. After you've tightened those two final hose clamps, you want to go back and check over the entire intake assembly. You want to make sure all the hose clamps are properly tightened and that everything is in the right place. The last step of the installation is to plug in the mass airflow sensor. Once you've completed this step, your air filter is good to go and it's ready for testing. Here we have the K&N Typhoon series intake installed. It's an absolutely gorgeous air intake and makes a great sound when you're driving the car. If you want more information on this intake, you can click the link down in the description, or you can watch my unboxing and review video. We go over a little more in depth of what's included with the kit and my thoughts after using the intake for a few days. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe.